Yes, hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we could hear you.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. Let me share my screen in window.
But your voice is too low.
Too low. Okay. Yes, good morning, all of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes. So let me continue. We are in UI. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we have completed the basic introduction part of that UI. Here, web UI introduction, we completed. So today, we'll continue that first topic of our course. Here, HTML4 is the first topic, generally I'll cover. Second topic, CSS2. Third topic, JavaScript. Here, fourth one, jQuery, and fourth one, HTML5. Then fifth topic, I'll go for CSS3. Then sixth topic, I'll go for jQuery. Then seventh one will be here, Ajax. Here, eighth one will be here.
Screen is stuck.
Screen not visible. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Here, a responsive design. Here itself, responsive design. Then ninth one will be here, Bootstrap. Here, 10th one will be here, less and SAS programming. Here, 11th one is project. 12th one is exam. Here, this project and exam, anyway, it is Saturday sessions. Saturday session, one Saturday project session, one Saturday exam. Okay, total duration here, it is 2 months. That order will be here like this. Okay, so in this order only, I'm going to continue all my topics. Here itself, I'm explaining here what is UI, what all topics comes under this, and this UI related 23rd October, 6 a.m. at combine. Yeah, here I'm going to teach all these topics along with that projects. Saturdays, I'll go for project session. So generally, I'll continue like that. Here, first I'm going for the first topic of our content, that is HTML4. HTML4 is my first topic. Here, under this HTML4, HTML is a hypertext markup language. So before writing this code, we have to understand what all, how we can write our code. So we have to use to write our code IDE. Java students will use their IDE as Eclipse. .NET students, .NET related IDE. Python student, Python related IDE will use it to write their programs. Here we are using here IDE to develop our application. This IDE here, it is a integrated development environment. Here, integrated development environment is the IDE. In this IDE, here Atom, brackets, NetBeans, here NetBeans, Eclipse, here IntelliJ, here VS Code. So widely used one is the VS Code. Like this, etc., etc. So many IDEs we, etc., etc. So many IDEs we. This IDE, we always use it to develop our application. 1 second. Yes. We will use the IDE to develop our application. Okay, this IDE here, it is an integrated development environment. This IDE, we can install it from Google. Here, you can go for Google. Under this, you can find VS Code. Under this VS Code, if you download it, see here, go for browser and VS Code, search for VS Code. Then you can find code.visualstudio.com. See, this is one URL. Here you will redirect. There, click on download option. Here, click on download option. So by that you can download. See here, click on download option. By that it will be downloaded. So once you click download option, here, once you click download option, that will be downloaded in our program. So in this download option, here it will download our application like this. Here in this time, once you click on this download option, data will be downloaded in our program. So here in this time, see, once you click this download option, you can find it here, that exe file. Exe file, you can find it here. In that exe file, see here, this is what Visual Studio user, here VS Code user setup x64. So it depends on your operating system processor. Based on that, you can download it. See, this is one downloaded setup file. So it will download one VS Code setup file. Setup file will be downloaded. Setup.exe file will be downloaded. So once you click next button, see here, I'm clicking next button. It will be installed in our system. See here, once you double click on it, here, once you double click on it, it will be installed in our system. So here, agree terms and condition, next button. Here, something you can create. Here, next button, you can click on install button. So by this, automatically, it will be installed in our system. So go to the computer start button. Here, search for VS Code. Here itself, I'm searching for VS Code. Under this VS Code, see here, this program will be downloaded in the Visual Studio Code, will be downloaded in our system. So after that, we can install it. After installation, go to the computer start button. Here, search for VS Code. Computer start button, search for VS Code. So by this, here VS Code will be opened in our system. So after opening that VS Code into our system, so just go to the file option. Under this, new folder. See here, file and followed by new folder. File followed by new folder. So by this, here itself, you can check it here, file, new folder. By that, I can open my new folder like this. See, I'm able to open that new folder of 6 AM folder. I can see I already created one empty folder. See, I'll create one 6 AM empty folder. Here, I'll select that folder. Select that folder. So by this, so VS Code will be opened in our system. So after this, there is two options, new folder, new file. So in this new folder, here I'm creating one subfolder for this, here HTML4. Two options will be there. One is new file, another one new folder. Here I selected new folder. So by that, this is like this. Under this, I'm selecting here my first program, first.html program. So this way generally we'll create our first program. Here, I'm going for VS Code. Under this VS Code start button, file, new folder. Under this, you can create one HTML4 folder. Under this HTML4 folder, so first I created one 6 AM folder. Under this, I created one subfolder here, HTML4 folder. Under this, I am creating first.html program. So first.html program, I'm creating like this. Here, so my first program I created in the main folder 6 AM subfolder HTML4. See, any HTML page follows basic structure is doc type HTML head and body. Suppose if I write directly welcome, I'm writing directly welcome. I want to run this program. To run this program, here go to the documents, here 6 a.m., here HTML4, just double click. So by this, you can see that welcome message here. Welcome message you can see here. But here, what I'm doing here, once I refresh, that code you can open it in our application. See here, welcome message I can show to the user like this. So this way of implementation you can show for our execution. It is possible by our. See, I'm writing my program in VS Code. I'm executing my program in the browser. Execution, just I'm going to that location and double click on my program. Automatically my program will be opened in the browser. Okay. Here, in this time, here VS Code, you can create your program like this. But according to that standard, according to W3 standard, every programming follows their own structure. So here I'll explain here, HTML is a hypertext markup language. Here it is completely markup language. Markup means here tag-based programming. Markup means tag-based programming. Here tag is nothing but it's a instruction to browser. We can give instructions to the browser in the form of tags. Here these instructions are here. So HTML is completely tag-based programming. Tag is nothing but instruction to the browser. So we can give our instructions in the form of tags. Here these tags are here. Two types. Here two types of tags we have. Here one is paid tag. Here one is paid tag. Second one here it is unpaid tag. So we have two types of tags we have. One is paid tag, another one unpaid tag. I'm explaining HTML4. Under this HTML4, we have paid tags and unpaid tags. Here paid tag, whenever you start the tag, definitely you need to close the tag. That is what here paid tag. Paid tag here, once you start the tag, definitely you need to close the tag. Here, unpaid tag is a self-closing tag. Here, paid tag generally will write it here, tag name will write, and here itself will close the tag like this. This is paid tag. Here itself you can write it here, unpaid tag. Here, unpaid tag for our program, tag name will write it, here itself will close, this is unpaid tag. Here only we are writing here, paid tag and unpaid tag, we can write like this. Okay, I'm writing HTML document. Under this paid tag and unpaid tag, I'm writing here. Under this paid and unpaid, that content will write like this. Okay, here I'm explaining here HTML tags. That HTML tags are here, paid tags and unpaid tags. This way only we'll write our code. After this, here, standard code of HTML will be any one.html, any program if you write it, here that one.html standard code will be here according to W3RG standard code here, doc type, HTML start and close. Here itself, head start and close and body start and close. Head and body tag, we generally write it to develop our application. Head and body tag generally will write it to develop our application. Okay. Here, doc type HTML head and body, generally we'll write it here to develop our application. Here, this is the standard code of HTML. Here, doc type HTML head and body is the standard code of HTML. Here in this HTML page, you can check it here. I'm writing 1.html. In this 1.html, here you can run your program. To run this program, here we can go for VS Code. There is an option called extensions. Under this, search for here, search for live server. Here, search for live server. So by that, you can click on install button. You can click on install button. So by that, it will be installed in our system. So it will be installed in our system. So once it is installed in VS Code, go for our 1.html program, right click on it. Right click on it. You can find open with live server. Here, open with live server option will be there. So by that, your program will be opened in the live server. See here, I can open my program with a live server. See here itself, I'm writing doc type, HTML, pair tag, head is a pair tag, body is also a pair tag. Okay, here I'm writing welcome to HTML. Okay, so now to run this program, there is an option called extensions. This is extensions. Just search for live server. Here I'm searching for live server in this extension. So by this, live server will be opened like this. So when you right click, open with live server. See here, right click, open with live server. See, if you click on it, you can find install button. Already it is installed, so it is showing uninstall button. Here, if you click on install button, then right click on your program, open with live server. So by this, your program will be opened in the live server in our program. Your program will be opened. Your program will be opened in the live server like this. Control C copy. Here, I'm able to open my program like this. See, this way only we can execute our program. This is what live server execution. Another way of execution of the program, go to the location, just double click on the program. Here, this way. Just open your program. Here, open your program in the current location. That is another way of execution. So one way of execution directly with a live server. Another way of execution will be like this. This way we can execute our program. Here, I'm explaining here how to run our program in the VS Code, how to install Visual Studio Code live server, and how to run our program with the VS Code I'm explaining here. Okay, Visual Studio Code, how to install it and how to run our program with the VS Code I'm explaining here. So see here in this VS Code, if I install my live server, I can execute my program like this. Okay, so in this time, here we are executing our program by live server. So automatically we can run our program with this VS Code. Next, here itself, you can see that here we are going for VS Code. In this VS Code, how to run our program with the VS Code, we understood here. Okay, so in this VS Code, here I'm executing my program by VS Code. So by that, how can I run my program? We executed. So here, if I do any changes in the program, so I'm showing two types of executions. One is with the live server execution. Another one here it is our program execution like this. Here we are executing our program with the live server and we're executing our program with the normally by browser. Two ways we are executing here. So one is here live server. Another one here it is normally by browser. So in two ways I'm executing my program. So in this time, here, in this time, so when I execute my program by live server, Here, live server, you can check it like this. So now you can check it here. Difference. See here, I'll do some changes. I'll add some dots in this program. So once I add dots in this program, you can check it here.
We don't see any changes, ma'am. Is that reflecting?
Yeah. Here, see here, if you check it with the live server, you can see the dots. You can see the dots. But here it is not reflecting. Why? Because if you run your program normally by browser, you have to refresh every time. We have to click on refresh button every time for every change in the program. But when I run it with a live server, automatically updates with this live server. Here, our program will be automatically updated. So when I run my program with a live server, program will be automatically updated like this. Okay. Here, I'm explaining here how my program will get executed. Here, how my program will get executed with a live server we observed. So advantage of this live server here, advantage of this live server here, my program will be automatically updated. Here, my program will be automatically updated when I run it with live server, whatever changes you are doing in the program. But if you run it normally by browser, here, the main advantage of this live server here, whenever we run our program, program will get executed like this. So this is what here live server execution. So we are executing our program with a live server. Automatically, my program will get executed like this. So in this time, here, whatever changes I'm doing in the program, that changes are automatically affecting here when I run it with live server. So we observed here in this today's session, how to install Visual Studio Code in our system and how to run our program with the VS Code. Here, how to install VS Code in our system and how to run our program with this VS Code we observed here in this session. Here, VS Code generally will search it. Here, we will search it in Google for this VS Code and will install that VS Code in our system. Here we are executing our system with this VS Code. Here, first go to the Google, search for VS Code. By that, VS Code will be here. We will redirect to code.visualstudio.com. See here, code.visualstudio.com. In this, there is an option called download. So that VS Code will be downloaded in our system. See here, VS Code setup file is downloaded in our system. So after downloading this VS Code, here automatically we can run our program with that VS Code. So here, once you click on this setup file, see, double click on it. By that next steps, it will be installed in our system. So once it is installed in our system, automatically we can run our program with the VS Code. Go to the computer start button, search for VS Code. VS Code will be opened in our system. There is a file option, file, new folder, 6 AM. So by that, a new folder of VS Code. Here in that, I can create one 6 AM folder, new folder, and I can create one subfolder. Any folder you can create. I'm running 6 AM batch. So that's why I'm using 6 AM folder in my system. Okay. Here we are using here 6 AM folder. Under this we executed. So we have used here 1.html. So by that we executed our program. So we have written our program in this 1.html. That standard code here, doc type HTML head and body. Doc type HTML head and body is the standard code of VS Code. Here in this VS Code, go for extensions, then search for live server. Here in this VS Code, go for extension, search for live server. So by that, live server will be automatically installed in our system. So once you click on install button, so after couple of next clicks, it will be installed in your system. So by that, here in this time, VS Code, in that, how to run our program. See, first we'll go for VS Code extension, search for live server, it is installed. After that, execution of the program, go to your program and right click on it, open with live server. Go to your program, right click on it, open with live server. The advantage of the live server here, whatever changes you are doing, that automatically affect in our program when I run it with a live server. You can also execute your program normally by browser. So it will open that output like this. This is what here totally our program installation of VS Code and starting program of our application, how to write it in VS Code, we executed like this. And in every programming language, C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, we will follow that programming related basic structure. Basic structure of the programming, generally we will write it. So we will follow that basic structure of the program. That basic structure will be here. Doc type HTML head and body is the basic structure for our programming. Basic structure of the programming here, it is doc type HTML head and body. Doc type here, it is a document type of HTML. Head tag and body tag, generally we'll use it to design our output. Okay, doc type HTML head and body is the standard code of HTML. Here, doc type HTML head and body is the standard code of HTML. So in this time, I'm explaining here how to write paired tags and unpaired tags. Here, paired tag, whenever you start the tag, definitely you need to close the tag. That one we call it as paired tag. Here itself, I'm explaining here paired tags and unpaired tags. Paired tags are here. Whenever you start the tag, definitely you need to close the tag. This is paired tag. Here, we are writing here paired tags and unpaired tags in our HTML. Here, let's see that example for that. So one is paired tag. That example of the paired tag here, see, HTML starting tag, HTML ending tag. Here, head starting tag and head ending tag. Body tag starting, body tag ending. Here, body tag ending. Then you can see that here, style tag, we can use it here to write that CSS code. Here, script tag, we use it here for writing JavaScript. Perfect. Here, script tag starting, ending, we can write like this. Here, script tag, we use it like this. Here, H1 to H6. H1 tag, H2 tag, H3 tag like this, we can write it here. H1 to H6, we use it as our heading tags. H1 tag, H2 tag, H3 tag, like this, we can write it here. All comes under heading tags. These heading tags are here used to write all different headings. Paragraph is used to write paragraph content. Div tag is used to write a division of the web page. Here, div tag we used to write a division of the web page. Heading tags we use it to write all headings part for our application. Here, next one, here you can check it here, heading tags, paragraphs. Here, table tag is used to display table of content. Marquee tag is used to display scrolling content. Like this, we have some type of paired tags we have. Here I'm explaining here, mark your tag. This is also here, it will continue in the here itself, it will continue closing. So here we'll write it here, opening tag and closing tag. This is what here, paired tag. Here, paired tag, whenever you write the starting tag, here we have to close the tag. So this is what here, this is what here, paired tag. So in this paired tag, here, see, style tag we are using here to write CSS code. Style tag I'm using here to write CSS code. Here, here style tag we are using here to write. Here script tag we use it here for writing script. Here style tag and then script tag I'm using here for showing all different headings for our application. Here in this time, here script is used to write JavaScript code. Style is used to write CSS code. Okay, this way only we'll write our program. Okay, here now you can check it here how to write style tag as well as script tag. Okay, here after this, under this body tag, I'll show you. Here under this body tag, we can write it here H1 to H6. Under this body tag, we can write it here H1 to H6. So this is what here, heading 1. Here only you can check it here, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. Like this, we can write it here, all heading tags. Here H2, H3, H4, H5, then H6. Here this way, we can write it here, all different heading tags for our application. Here, all different headings for our application, we can check it like this. Here, P tag. So, P tag is used to display paragraph. Here, you can type any content like this. See here, I'm typing some content here. This content is used to display paragraph information. But here in this time, so when I write all headings for our program, that output will come like this. Here, heading for our application, headings will come like this. See here. So once if you don't want the content here, if you don't want to type the content, if you want dummy content here, lorem is the keyword, lorem 4. See here, 4 words. Here, lorem 10 words. Here, lorem 7 words. See any number, 20 words, 40 words, 2000 words, 7,000 words, any number of words you can write it. This is for dummy content. Dummy content of the paragraph, we can write like this. See, in this list of paired tags are here. HTML is a paired tag. Head tag is also a paired tag. Style tag is a paired tag. Script tag is also a paired tag. Body tag is a paired tag. H1 to H6 all are paired tags. Paragraph tag is used to display paragraph content. Here, body tag. So this is the way generally we'll write it. To run this program, here only you can check it here. See, to run this program, this is what here one heading. H1 to H6, all different headings we are showing. And this is what here paragraph. Here, this is the way generally we'll display our output. Here we are writing here H1 to H6, all different sizes of headings. And this is here paragraph content for our program. So this is the way generally we'll display our output. So I'm explaining here how to write all different heading tags for our program and paragraph content in our program. So heading tags are here H1 to H6. H1 to H6, all different sizes of headings we are writing for our program. Here, H1 to H6, we use it as different sizes of headings for our application. When you right click, inspect element on this. See here, when you right click, inspect element on this. Now you can find it here. H1 is a bigger size heading. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, all different sizes of headings will show you. See here, H1 will show you bigger size heading. H6 will show you smaller size heading. Here, H1, it is a bigger size heading. H6, it is show you here smaller size heading. Okay. So these sizes are already defined in the library of HTML. In HTML browser, the browser always supports that all HTML tags, those all HTML tags generally will write like this. One second. Here, headings, all sizes will be like this. Here, H1 will show you bigger size heading. H6 will show you smaller size headings. H1 to H6 will show you like this. H1 is a bigger size heading. H6 is the smaller size heading. So this way only will show our output for our application H1 to H6. Okay, similar way we can display here. Paragraph is used to display paragraph content. See here, font size 2EM. 2EM is the font size for H1. So if you check it here, see H1 by default, it will show you here H1 tag. If you check it here, this H1 by default, it will show you by the browser that font size will be here 2EM. 2EM is the font size. H2, if you check it here, that font size here, font size will be here 1.5 EM. Then H3, if you check it here, this font size will be here. Font size will be here 1.17 EM. Here H4, H5, H6 like this we can write. Here for H4, no font size. For H5, here if you write it here H5, that font size will be here. Font size of this one here 0.8 here 8763, yeah, 87 EM. H6 will show you with the font size of here font size of 0.67 EM. So these are all different font sizes for our program. These all are different font sizes for our program like this. Here itself, I'm explaining here that font sizes will be like this. H1 to H6, all different font sizes for our application will be like this. H1 will show you here a font size of 2EM. Here H1 will show you with the font size of 2EM. H2, H3, H4, H5, H6 like this, all sizes will be like this. See, in the browser itself, that sizes are already defined. See here, H1 it is 2 EM, H2 here 1.5 EM, H3 1.17 EM, H4 no font size, H5 0.83, not 87. This is 83. Here 83 EM is the font size. EM is the measurement. So we are no need to remember these all. Just I am giving. The browser is storing these all information. It is displaying according to that tag. According to that tag, it is displaying. H4, no font size. H5, 0.83. H6, 0.67. So this way, generally, it will display that all sizes for our application. Okay. This way only, it will display that output for our application. So I'm explaining here H1 to H6, all different sizes of headings. Paragraph content and all contents for our application will show you like this. Here in this time, H1 it is a bigger size heading, H6 it is a smaller size heading. And this is the paragraph is used to display total paragraph content for us. Total paragraph content for us. Here next we can write it here. Div tag is used to display division of the web page. Here division. So here itself I'm writing div tag. Div tag is used to display division of the web page. So I'm not going to cover this table and marquee tag in this. Table, I'll write separate program for that. Marquee tag, I'll write separate program for this. Okay, here up to now I explain here what are the list of pair tags we have. Pair here, whenever you start the tag, definitely you need to close the tag. That one only we call it as pair tag. Here, these all the list of tags comes under pair tags. Here, these all the list of tags comes under pair tags. I'm explaining here parent and pair. See, all will be like this. In this time, here H1 to H6 is showing predefined size. Along with that, here some margin and some other effect also it is showing. See here, margin. This half code is HTML. This half code is the CSS. Along with that font size, it is showing here margins. All margins and font weights and all it is displaying like this. Here, this is what here font sizes, and this is what here all different headings. All different headings and all different font sizes we are showing like this. Okay. Here H1, it is a bigger size heading. See, even if it is in the website, when you right click inspect element on this VS Code, you can see that here download Visual Studio Code is one H1 tag. Under this, whatever paragraph content is there, so that is by P tag. So you can check it in the real time, which tag is displaying per heading, which tag we are using here for paragraph, and how we are displaying the content. All you can check it in any application. Here today, you do one task, open any website, right click inspect element on that. Open any website, right click inspect element on that. So automatically here, when you right click inspect element on that, you can see some list of tags. Just note down that list of tags, what all we have in our websites, any websites. Right click inspect element, you can find some list of tags. Just note down that list of all tags, whatever we have. Just try to write it in one paper and come tomorrow class. So by that, you will get idea about it. So what all the tags are there in the currently websites. So how we can use it in the application development. And I already created one drive access for you, one 6 AM drive, and everyday recording I'm uploading in that drive. So you can check the drive for your regular information. Here for regular classes, today onwards, we started our regular session and demos are completed. Yesterday and day before yesterday, 6:30 AM to 7:15, I continued on demonstration. Today, I continued on 6 AM to 7 AM class. In this, I continued on regular session. So every day it will be 6 AM to 7 AM only. See, all recordings up to now, how many classes are completed yesterday, including yesterday demonstration, all I uploaded here. And today's one also recording I'll upload here. Next, here programs. Today we have done one program, right? That program I'll upload here. Next, here you can check paint file. Here up to now, how many classes are completed? All paint files I'll upload here. All class related paint files I'll upload here. So this way, generally, I'll provide the notes for the students. In this, I'll upload everyday class recordings, everyday class programs, everyday files I'll upload here. So by that, student can check everyday information here. This drive is shared with only 2 students who are not having this drive access. Please contact organizer, DURGASOFT organizer, and try to get this drive access. Who are not with this drive access, try to get this drive access from the organizer. Okay, see, I'll show you this drive. See, here this drive is shared with the 2 students. Okay, so this drive is shared with the 2 students like this. Here, this drive is shared with the 2 students here. Like this, who are not having this drive access, please contact organizer. So by that, everyday class files, you can get it. And documents here. So everyday class documents. Here, you can get it like this. Everyday class document, you can get it like this. Only HTML4 document and course content. So these all I added here. So this way, generally, I'll continue with my classes. So if you have any doubt, you can ask, please. Monday to Friday, it is topic session. Saturdays, I'll go for project. So this is the way of my practice.
Hi, ma'am. I have a couple of doubts.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the first one is like the Visual Code Live Server. So live server means, is that part of the Visual Code application itself, or is that something?
No, it is an extension in the VS Code itself.
Okay, so that server is running as part of VS Code, correct?
Yes. Here itself, it's a plugin for VS Code.
Okay. And the next thing is like regarding the unpair tags. So is table and mark you or unpair tags or a pair tags?
Pair only. I didn't started unpair tags. Unpair tags syntax will be like this. Here I explained today only pair tags.
Okay, ma'am. So table and mark you will be continuing tomorrow.
Separate program. I'll explain that tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Not exactly tomorrow. One by one we'll cover.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, any other doubts? Yes. So who joined today? So for them, it is an information. So you joined very late. Last 6:40 you joined. I'm starting my session at 6 a.m. only. 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm continuing my class. So demos are completed by yesterday. Today I continued with the first program of HTML4. So try to get the last 2 recordings, or otherwise I'll give you brush up session or backup session separately on a separate time. Who joined today and who already joined yesterday and day before yesterday, complete your registration. Tomorrow 6 a.m. link will change. Okay, try to get that link and continue for the remaining pair and unpair times for the class. Okay, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.